Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this week. So this week I'm going to be talking about assessment. I know that sometimes people's blood pressure goes up when I mention the word assessment, but especially in this AI infused, AI enabled world, how do we actually deal with assessment when all of our students can actually go and get the answer from any AI model? So I've got some ideas from different universities and one in particular that I'm going to share. So if you're interested in exploring different types of assessments in an AI infused world, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I've been following Professor Danny Liu from University of Sydney, and they have developed a really, I think, thoughtful and measured way to assess. Professor Danny Liu always says how important it is that we can verify somebody's knowledge and understanding if they graduate from the University of Sydney. So they've formulated the two-lane system, which other universities in Australia have adopted. So I just want to show you a document and go through that. It's from Curtin University in Australia, and they kind of give some great suggestions of assessment in this AI infused world. Okay, so I'm going to put the link to this document in the comment section below. And this is from Curtin University. It's for Assessment 2030, Designing Lane 2 Assessments, and it's from the Office of the Deputy Vice Chancellor. So let's just go to the next page. So it's a very short document, but I thought I might just highlight some of the main points. We're going to be talking about lane 1, lane 2 assessments, comparing the two lanes, starting off with learning outcomes, designing effective lane 2 assessments, scaffolding AI use, marking and grading considerations, and then conclusion. And I'm going to be giving my honest opinion. So if there's anything that I think is not going to work, or I don't agree with in terms of the philosophy, then I'm going to let you know. So let's have a look. We're going to have a look at unpacking lane 2 assessments. So just focusing on here on the right side, Curtin University is adopting the same lane 2 approach or two-lane approach that University of Sydney has adopted. And basically, they've said the two-lane approach is based on a simple premise. No single assessment can do everything at once. So we have lane 1 assessments, which are supervised and controlled, designed to verify that learning has occurred, and then lane 2 assessments serve a different purpose entirely. So lane 2, if we focus on that for a minute, they're assessments which are open, non-secure. Students may use the same range of tools available to them as they would in professional and everyday life, including AI, to complete a task or solve a problem. They're designed to prepare students to operate as ethical and capable professionals in a world increasingly shaped by digital tools. And I think that's important that we give our students authentic experiences where they do have open access to all the different tools, whether it's an AI tool, whether it's a graphical display calculator. You know, we need to be giving them situations where they're authentically solving problems or completing tasks with all of the resources available to them. And then here it goes on to say, what is lane 2 actually assessing? When a student produces an industry standard artifact using Gen AI, the question is not, did they write every word themselves? It is, did they demonstrate the disciplinary knowledge to work with the tool, judge what good looks like, and produce something they can explain and defend? So basically, we want our students to use all these tools, whether it's Gen A tools, whether it's Gen AI tools or calculators or whatever resources they have, even books, but are they able to critically analyze the output that is given? Are they able to synthesize the ideas? Are they able to communicate them? Are they able to metacognitively reflect? So they're the things that I'm kind of understanding from this description here. And then it says, That is what Lane 2 assessment is designed to develop within students. It targets the capabilities central to students' future careers, for example, disciplinary judgment, self-regulation, and the ability to work critically and collaboratively in environments where AI and digital tools are the norm. Okay, so next I know we're going to look at a side-by-side comparison of lane 1, lane 2. So let's have a look there, comparing the two lanes. So let's go to lane 1 first. So the objective is really to verify students' learning, maintaining a degree of integrity and supporting progression. And how it works: secure assessments at specific points across the journey, the learning journey. And here are some examples. So even though it says exams, like I wouldn't want all of us to go back to traditional exams in a supervised setting. It also includes interactive orals, which are viva voces, skills demonstration, and industry placements. So I love the practicality side of that. Classification: the lane 1 assessment is secure, it's supervised, it's synchronous. And then in Gen AI use, in a lane 1 assessment, it says restricted or controlled. So students may use Gen AI to prepare for that study. And the key educator question is, can the student progress in the unit and or in the course? So I think one of the key questions in the lane 1 assessment is, does the student understand what they're doing? So can they demonstrate, can they communicate through either a practical assessment, demonstration, a viva voce, that they actually understand what they're learning? Now let's go to the lane 2 assessment. So this is to support students' development as professionals working alongside digital tools and AI. How it works: continuous formative activities integrated throughout the course to support scaffolded development. And then there are some examples where there's essays, written reflections, case study analysis, digital portfolios, artifact creation. The classification, they say non-secure. That kind of, I think, has the intonation that it's negative when you say it's non-secure, but it is unsupervised and asynchronous. Gen AI use: educators may permit Gen AI use. Students must verify all outputs and may be required to declare use. Great. And what's the key educator question? Has the student produced work of a professional standard? Okay, so I think they're kind of a really good side-by-side comparison. And then on the left, you've got some key principles of lane 2, which is using all resources available. We want there to be student ownership, professional disciplinary orientation, authenticity and relevance, and preparing independent professionals. Okay, so I'm going to skip a few pages and go to the Swiss cheese model because this is huge in Australia. Everyone's talking about the Swiss cheese model. And so let me just read out exactly what it is. There's no such thing as a perfect assessment, absolutely. And I think assessment should be a continuous collection of evidence of learning. And that's to inform the teacher as well as inform the student of where they are. No single task can be fully secure, completely inclusive, and authentically representative of professional practice all at the same time. Assessment design always involves some kind of compromise. So what's the good news? You do not need any one assessment to be perfect. What matters is how your assessments layer together across the course. So when you have lots of different types of assessment, different ways of collecting evidence of student learning, they're stacked alongside one another, and the holes in one are covered by the strengths of another. So that's what the Swiss cheese model of assessment design is, having that continuous collection so that if there are gaps in one assessment, then another assessment will fill that gap. The next thing they talk about in this document is starting with the learning outcomes. Now, you've probably known me really well. I don't like to rob students of actually arriving at deep conceptual understandings. And sometimes they're called learning outcomes, but I can see the learning outcomes here are actually just skills. So of course we want our students to know what skills we want them to develop at the beginning, during, and at the end. But something that we don't want to share with students is the deep conceptual understanding that we want students to arrive at through the learning journey. So here some examples of learning outcomes are: critically evaluate and synthesize competing perspectives, develop and justify creative solution, construct a professional artifact, communicate complex ideas, apply ethical reasoning to a scenario, collaborate in a team. So that's not robbing students of an experience in their learning journey. That's telling them what are the skills that we actually want you to come away and develop. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is scaffolding AI use, because I was very interested to see their approach to this. And let's come on to recommended approaches. So provide background on the strengths and limitations of AI use within your discipline. Absolutely. Practice prompts in class and set them as a preparatory activity for students. Great, teaching your students how to communicate and prompt. Showcase the relevant literature on how AI helps and hinders in your field and discuss ethical considerations openly. Consider a student as partners approach where learners contribute to shaping how AI is used in their assessments. Beautiful. I agree with that. So what about the common pitfalls to avoid? I'm interested to read this part. Trying to control which specific tools students use. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, when I work with teachers, I never say, oh, everyone, let's just use this one tool. Because actually, all of the tools, depending on how you use it, will give you a pretty much okay output. It's the pedagogy that we want to focus on, right? Not the tool. Another common pitfall, trying to control how or when tools are used. Yeah, because you have absolutely no control. You don't know what's happening outside of the classroom. So, don't even focus on that. Common pitfall, assuming that all students already know how to use AI effectively. Absolutely. We need to teach our students to be discerning. AI tools still hallucinate. They are getting better and better, but they still hallucinate. Okay, another pitfall is assuming that all students have equal access to AI tools. Absolutely. And another pitfall, providing guidance only once and not revisiting it throughout the unit. Yeah, this is a great document. This is an absolutely great document. And then concluding guidance. I won't read all of these out, but I'll put the link in the comment section below. Okay, so I thought that they were actually really good ideas on handling assessment and using the Swiss cheese model where you have a variety of different assessments for different purposes. And if there's an assessment that doesn't assess a particular capability or an idea, then, use another assessment. So a lot of people have asked me questions. What do we do? Well, we do need to redefine what assessment looks like in this AI-infused world, right? And so while lane one, yes, we do need to verify that students still understand the material, they still have domain knowledge in order to be able to discern facts from non-facts. I think we still need to we've got a long way to go, put it that way, in terms of education reform and assessment models. So thank you so much for joining me this week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.